How was your weekend, Coach?
It was great, man. I loved that weekend watching those NFL playoff games, and there's 2 each day. It's fantastic. Great games too. It was fun to watch them.
All right, let's go around the horn then. Let's start in the NFL. Chiefs do it again, 23-14 over the Texans. Some people not really happy with the way the whistle went in that game, but the Chiefs are still alive. What'd you think about KC?
Yeah, they're a great team. Gosh, Andy Reid. Well, all these coaches are great at this point. You really enjoy watching them. But, Patrick Mahomes just doing his thing. Travis Kelce continues to make those touchdowns and big plays. So you got to give it to them. They do a really good job, regardless of, calls. It's the way it is. They made the plays in the key moments, and that's how they win.
You have a pretty good friendship with Andy Reid, right?
Not really.
Is that Joe? Maybe it's Joe I'm thinking about that's pretty good buddies with Andy Reid.
Yeah, but he was wonderful. I went to practice, probably a month ago. I happened to be in Kansas City for something and had a little extra time, and I thought, let me see if I can't go over and watch him practice. And he couldn't have been nicer, welcoming and make yourself at home. All the coaches came over, said hello, and then we have so many players there. Every one of them came over, gave me a hug. All our players that are playing for the Chiefs. So anyway, no, I've always been a big admirer of him as a coach, though. Man, he does a great job everywhere he's been.
Yeah, he really does. Saturday night, Commanders pulled off the upset, the shocker of the weekend, 45-31 at Detroit. A lot of people had Detroit as the favorite to win the whole thing. They turned it over way too much, Coach. But, boy, Washington's becoming quite a story here.
Again, you said it, though, turnovers are a huge deal. Jaden Daniels, you got to give it to him, and Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know if everybody remembers, but Cliff's the play caller and the offensive coordinator, and he's done a great, great job with the rookie quarterback who's fantastic, man. The poise that guy has, the ball, the great throws that he can run. They really got it going on, boy. They beat them soundly.
Yeah, they did. And then we had the 2 snow games on Sunday. Philly beats the Rams 28-22. Second half, it was hard to see where the yard lines were. Fun game, lots of turnovers, having a hard time hanging onto the ball in the snow. But Saquon Barkley was a beast, and the Rams almost pulled it off there, the big comeback at the end, Coach, but fell just short.
Again, they had a couple turnovers that really broke their back. And then a few too many field goals early when they had chances down inside like the 10 or the 15. And, where you got to, on the road there, you got to get touchdowns. And then a couple big plays on there. I thought their defense played excellent, but for 2 big runs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What they end up with, like 7 sacks again, I think, or something like that?
Yeah.
When you were at Iowa.
So close to getting it done.
When you were at Iowa, did you ever have a game like that, with that much snow? Have you ever played in a game with that much snow?
I played in one as I think a sophomore up in Minnesota, and at Minnesota, played in one that was similar, and then and in fact I got my only personal foul for slugging a guy back then. It's the only time it ever happened. We got in a little bit of a fight with Minnesota, and I got a little carried away, and then.
Well, I need to know more about that.
Time we beat Michigan State at home, the last game of the year in '81, to clinch going to the Rose Bowl, to tie for the Big Ten championship with Ohio State, and Ohio State beat Michigan that day for us to go, but we had to beat Michigan State, and it's one of those things. We knew what was happening. They had started their game ahead of ours. And we heard all the fans going crazy, like in the middle of the third quarter when we weren't even on the field or playing. So everyone knew All right, Ohio State beat them, and we were already ahead of Michigan State and ended up beating them soundly. But it was
Big snow
everywhere, and they had to plow the field. So all around the perimeter of the field, it was banks of snow, and some on the field, but not like it was like those pro games were yesterday.
I need to go back to the Minnesota game. The reporter in me needs to know more information. Was this a wide receiver that was mouthing off at you, or what happened here, Coach?
I don't know who it was, and there was a bunch of us though that it was one of those chippy games. And anyway.
Anyway, we'll move on. Bills over the Ravens. This game was, I think, the most anticipated of the weekend, and it lived up to it. 27-25. My heart breaks for Mark Andrews today, Coach.
Oh, my gosh, me too. Such a tremendous player and a competitor, and what a talent. Just to have a couple of tough plays at the end, they're going down in the fourth quarter. I just hate it for him. And he's had so much success, though. So, yeah. It's just unfortunate, and it came down to that. And tough conditions. I don't care. People don't, always, don't make excuses. I get it. But, it's a little more difficult in those kind of conditions, handling the football.
I mean, that you were kind of the original "don't make excuses" guy, Coach. So you kind of established that standard.
I know. If I know Mark, he won't want to hear that. But it isn't easy in those conditions. Just makes.
All right, so we got Buffalo at KC, and then we got Washington at Philly, an NFC East showdown there. What do you think about these two matchups next week?
I can't ever pick against the Chiefs right now. Yeah. They just find a way all the time, and with Andy Reid calling plays, it's so I'd go with the Chiefs, but I like the Commanders. I say that I keep thinking of Saquon Barkley busting those runs, but just golly, Washington's just really producing so many points. But yeah, you got to go with Philly, I guess. I don't know why I said that. In the end, just thinking back to Saquon Barkley and the way they're running the football, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and they're at home, so we'll see. I mean, the Commanders do seem to have something special going right now, so I wouldn't rule out the possibility. Are the Chiefs at home as well? That's correct. Yep, Chiefs hosting Buffalo at 2:00. That's the afternoon game next week. And then the Sunday late afternoon night game is Washington at – no, I got those backwards, I think. Washington and Eagles are first, and then Bills and Chiefs, I believe. Yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter. Those are the two games.
Home teams are hard to pick against.
For sure.
I say that, but, Washington went in and won on the road the other day and beat them soundly.
Yeah, they beat Tampa on the road, too, so.
Yeah.
Nothing for them. Well, we've got a national championship game tonight in college football, Coach. Notre Dame and Ohio State. Buckeyes, a pretty sizable favorite. They've been playing great football, but so has Notre Dame. So which way you leaning tonight, Coach?
Yeah, I'm leaning with Ohio State for sure. I think both defenses are really, really good. Probably splitting hairs there. But I think Ohio State's offense is, quite a bit better than what Notre Dame's has been to this point anyway. They've run the ball pretty well, but I don't think they'll run it as easy as they have on some other people against Ohio State. And I just in the last couple of games, Chip Kelly and Ryan Day have turned loose those receivers and allowed Will Howard, an opportunity to throw the ball more and with bigger plays. And those guys are making some big plays, those receivers and quarterback Will Howard together. I just believe that's going to be too hard for Notre Dame to hold the entire day.
Does seem like Jeremiah Smith might be the best player on the field.
Oh, and
certainly could be the difference maker tonight. We shall see. national championship game tonight in Atlanta, Notre Dame and Ohio State. Coach, you played in several national championship games. What do you remember about game day that maybe the two head coaches are going through right now? Was your routine any different? You've often talked about the surprise back in 2000 when Toby sang the national anthem and everything, but I would imagine it's a long day with probably quite a few butterflies.
Yeah, you really have to pace yourself. I think that's the key, is you tend to start thinking about it and getting wound up and excited too early, and you're wore out before the game, But I can remember a funny story, the 2000 national championship. Well, luckily I was in one with Coach Spurrier in '96. Mm-hmm. We beat Florida State for the national championship, and then in 2000, I remember we took the coaches and the top two deep out of our team hotel because all the people that were there at the Fountain Blue, which is a beautiful hotel, but there's so many fans and so much going on. The day before, we'd made it like a road trip, a away game. We went to a Marriott over by the airport and in Miami. And so we had a little more quiet space, and the people that were staying there were some fans, but it wasn't overwhelmed with it. And we were all hanging around by the pool. Coach Mangino was smoking a cigar. He loves cigars. And we were all just sitting outside in the kind of mid-morning and, talking, with each other and just relaxing. And my agent called. I had my agent, Neil Cornrich, for 2 years prior, and then this was 2 years. So he had been helping me for 4 years, and I had never met him. So, and this is so he was at the hotel. He wanted to come say hello to me. He drove over. I said, well, I'll meet you by the lobby. And I said, but you have me at a disadvantage. I said, you know what I look like. I don't know what you look like. So I finally met him. I finally met my agent the day of the national championship game.
That's funny. That's funny. Did you take the team to a different hotel in all of the championship games like that, or was it just because of the Fountain Blue that you felt the need to do that? Yeah,
just that one. Mm-hmm. The other ones we found ways to just be a little more to ourselves and quiet, and it just wasn't always easy to do.
Sure. Well, I got to ask you, the Jim Knowles speculation. Of course, he's the defensive coordinator at Ohio State. They're playing for the title tonight. There has been a lot of rumblings, and it now seems like it's more than just rumblings, that he must be at least somewhat interested, because it sounds like he and Brent are going to talk this week, and I'm not expecting you to confirm any of that or anything. But what do you think about Jim Knowles as a defensive coordinator, and how big would it be if OU could pull this off?
Well, I hope it's true. I really do. I would have surprised me. I said that, I think, last week. But the fact that he hasn't said that there's nothing to it by now, then there has to be something to it, and which is great. I think it's a fantastic hire. I think he's done a really great job everywhere he's been. He's doing a great job right now with Ohio State, and I think it'd be a home run. So I'm and like I said, the fact that nothing has been solidified or said definitively to this point, there must be something to it, which is great. I'm all for it. No, I think a lot of Jim. I was around him. I spoke a year or two ago at Ohio State, one of their coaches' clinics. They gave me an award for being an Ohio coach. And anyway, I ran into him there and got to speak with him and told him how much I respected the job he's been doing.
Well, let me ask you this, because Brent obviously runs a scheme that he's comfortable with. I don't know how different Jim Knowles' scheme is, but is that – I don't think it's wildly different. Is that something that can be overcome?
Absolutely. Brent, there's certain things that he'll come to appreciate about what Jim does that maybe he hadn't been doing, and I'm sure the other way around. Jim will appreciate some of the things Brent believes in. Defenses, there's a lot of similarities to defense. I think there's offenses can vary, and even, I'll be honest, even offenses don't vary aren't that much different anymore. So, and both these guys, Brent and Jim Knowles, have been around so much and coached so much defense that, to me, that wouldn't be a hard thing to put together of what they're both comfortable with.
Could you see Brent taking a back seat? Or, I mean, maybe that's not the right way to say it, but turning the defense over to someone else? I'm sure he'd still be involved in some regards, but could you see him being able to do that?
Oh, yeah. But you could turn it over and still have some input, Yeah. For the longest time, I did when Brent and Mike were running my defense. If there were certain things that I'd rather emphasize than others, and that's why you're sitting in meetings and you bring that up.
Yeah. You still coached the DBs, correct? And
to some degree, not always, but I mean,
okay.
If I was in individual drills when we're all doing individual position stuff, I would spend more time there than anywhere.
Yeah. I could see Brent still, jumping in with the linebackers maybe or something,
sure.
But we'll see. All right, Teach, what do we got going on the text line there for Coach?
A lot of questions about Jim Knowles, which you guys just hit on there, but one was about the approach Coach had with guys like, say, a Mark Andrews and the situation he had yesterday. With a veteran guy like that, this texter's asking, what was your approach in those situations? Did you give tough love knowing that they are guys you lean on and depend on, or was it a situation where you go and wrap your arm around them and say, hey, this was on everybody, not just you? How did you approach situations like that?
No, you put your arm around them for sure. No, yeah, absolutely. All the great plays Mark's had through the years and even this year, and nobody's perfect, and it's this game will teach you that, and just unfortunate it happened at this time, and but you got to move on. You're too good a player, and you've done so much for us that everyone's going to remember all the good you've done before that. So you just got to let it go and keep moving forward.
It's amazing. I don't know if it's amazing, but these final 8 teams, and now down to the final 4, Coach, just every team, Sooners everywhere. We had Neville Gallimore sacking Jalen Hurts in the end zone yesterday. So many Sooners still playing here late in the playoffs.
Yeah, I loved it. Not that I love seeing Jalen get sacked or get a safety, but it was fun to see Neville Gallimore doing it. And, I was out around Christmas time to watch the Rams practice. We were out seeing Drake for a few days, and Neville came up out of his stretch line, gave me a huge hug. Man, he looks bigger than ever. But he was starting for them at the time, so really excited for him.
Yeah, he's a guy that I thought, he might make it in the league, but he's been so much. He's had a better career than I expected, and that's on me. But he's doing a fantastic job. Many, many years there with the Cowboys, and now out with the Rams. What was Drake's? I guess year 1's in the books now. What's he think about the NFL life?
He's loved it. Loves his team. They got a Sean McVay. I think it shows as you watch their team play. They've got a really great culture, just in on the field, in the locker room, and supporting one another. Can't say enough positives he can't about Coach McVay and all the coaches. Just how great it is to go to work every day, and then he says his receiver room. Those guys, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, all of them really help each other. Really fun to be around, and from what I understand, I haven't talked to Drake today, but they've already offered him a contract for the next couple years. I don't know what exactly it is, but so it's got to be positive. It's right after their game yesterday. So
wow.
So we'll see. I don't have any details whatsoever, but it's a positive that they're already excited about him and offered him something already.
No, that's fantastic news. That's awesome. Well, hey, we got Porter got a win on Saturday, Coach. Boy,
Absolutely.
they needed that one. Played well too.
I know it. Golly, just even one of those other ones that they were in such good control of, if they could have just pulled it off. But they'll keep building. Again, I love that guy, the energy, how hard he works at it, and his staff. And I like this team. The team, too, I think is going to hopefully continue to grow, and make those tough plays in the last 5-8 minutes of the game that you got to make. Whether they're stops, whether it be a rebound, whether it be making a clutch shot, all of those together, you got to make those key plays in the last minutes of games to close them out.
Yep. All right. So Ohio State, that's your pick tonight. You got a score for me or anything?
Oh, wow. Let's see. I would say 31-17, something like that.
It sounds about. I mean, I could see that. I hope it's closer than that. I hope we get a thriller tonight, just from an entertainment
perspective. I wouldn't mind that either. Yeah, I'd love to watch a tight, tough game.
I've been wrong about Will Howard. I'm going to admit it. I thought when Ohio State got him, I thought that was a weird pickup, and boy, he has been really, really good. I
didn't watch a lot of Ohio State through the year, but I watched the entire Michigan game, and I thought I was right. He just is a guy, and he sure has been more than that these last couple big games, and good for him. No, I'd be in that camp as well. He's really picked it up and making some great plays, throwing the ball. I've always known he could run the ball some, but he's making some great throws.
It's the transfer portal era. You've got the quarterbacks of Kansas State and Duke last year going head-to-head tonight for the national championship at Notre Dame and Ohio State. That's the way it's going to be every year, I think, going forward for the most part. So, well, Coach, always love talking to you. Hope you have a great week, and thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time today.
All right, guys. Always great to be with you.